Mm,
What is going on, YouTube? I am your host, the Financial Conspirator. Today we have a special video with our guests, Rakeem Y3 Kim on Instagram and Edge Out Trading. We've also had a video with him before. We've had a video with both of these brothers on this channel. I will put links to those in the description below. You brothers want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Kim, you want to go first?
yeah, I'll go first. Peace, everybody. I am Rakim, Rod.Kim on TikTok and Y3Kim on Instagram. Heavily into macroeconomics, crypto, precious metals, and things like that. And I know these brothers are heavy into trading and really just the full scope of economics as well. So, yeah, glad to be here.
All right. Wealth Rising. I am MJ, founder of Edge Out Trading. I tend to like to think of myself as a futures specialist, bond futures, index futures, crypto futures, and just here to share some information, some things that we're seeing in the market, and spread the knowledge. Well wishes, not financial advice for anybody who's wondering or asking. We're just speculators and observers, those looking to share the information and maybe even give you a different viewpoint on VIX BRICS and CBDCs. Man, I think it's a great title. I appreciate the Financial Conspirator for bringing me on and giving me the platform. So and that's pretty much.
So the pleasure is all mine. Thank you, brothers, for joining. The pleasure is all mine. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's a topic to speak on, especially right now. It's a lot
Exactly.
with the BRICS and CBDCs, man.
Right.
Exactly. So like you said, VIX BRICS CBDCs. Today we're going over the diesel reserves. We've heard some propaganda, fear-mongering news that we only have 25 days left. We want to look into how valid that is. What will that mean for the CPI inflation prices? Then we're going to get into Saudi Arabia planning on joining the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China. We're also going to get into central bank digital currencies in China, in the United States, where they're trying to pilot these things. What do we think they'll mean for the United States and the next coming, what do they say, Great Reset? And then at the end, we're going to go over some indicators, trading indicators, and what do we think about November 8th, which is probably a little bit important for the stock market. So first thing first, volatility index. A lot of people have been following a trending chart on Twitter. Is this volatility index compared to the 2007-2008 crisis, which you can find in the blue. And the white is current volatility index price action, and the blue is 2008. So, Rakeem, can I ask you, what do you think about this first?
How what? Go ahead, ask your full question.
Sorry?
I was gonna say, go ahead, ask your full question.
Oh yeah. How do you think this will be playing into your 3 to 6 month trading investing game plan?
Honestly, I would just say I'm waiting more towards more of these interest rate hikes. You know what I'm saying? To get more interest, because a lot of like what we're seeing right now in the market is the Fed is just absolutely controlling the market, like all markets everywhere with interest rate hikes, as they've been doing really for the past since the last '08 crash. So I'm looking at for more buys towards the end of the year, and then maybe going into 2023, because the Fed is going to be rolling off their balance sheet going into 2023, and that hasn't even started yet. So hey, I'm hoping for some, you know what I'm saying, great long-term entries, and I'm saving and stacking cash right now.
Absolutely. MJ, break it down.
I like what my man Rakim said, man. Don't get intimidated. Don't get caught up in the FOMO. Cash is a position. And right now, until we get some clear things in the market, I think cash is a smart position. Because chess is a game about well-timed aggression, and the markets is no different. So Be patient. I'm looking at the VIX as well. I've been tracking the VIX pretty heavily. Um, I got it up right here. I'm looking at a little bit further decrease for the month of November. Just kind of tracking the futures market, the bond futures market. Like you said, the interest rates. I actually trade a few of those as well. So, exactly what you're talking about. And the bond market has not found a floor yet. And basically, what that means is interest rates will continue to rise for the foreseeable future. And as long as the interest rates are rising, you're going to see this increased volatility in the market, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Jerome Powell's he's the man. He's the man with all the gold. So until he can get a handle on the economy and the global market, I think the VIX is going to be something that we should be paying attention to. It's like you said, what is that going up to? 85?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean it's going up to 85. So just to put that in context, and I've been saying this to the members in my Discord group as well. It's like just to put it in context, in order for the VIX to go up to 85, the S&P 500 has to go down to 2,200 to 2,600. And right now we're at I think we're at 30. You got it up there right now, 3901. Right.
Yeah.
So just put that in perspective. That's almost a 2,000 point drop. Right. So I think it's very important that we understand what the VIX and what these indicators are trying to tell us. Because the VIX is just a volatility indicator for S&P 500.
Yeah, and you just mentioned another leg down. I think Jamie Dimon said we could see easily, quote unquote, easily another 20% move to the downside. And 2018, 2020, and 2008, we all saw the VIX at least above 45. We haven't seen the VIX get above 40, 35 in the past year.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, we were at 33, 34 last week, right? So that was when the S&P 500 dipped down to 3502. We're talking about index futures, just so we're clear. We're talking about the S&P 500 and the VIX, the volatility index. Just in case, right? We're just throwing out arbitrary numbers, right? 3502 is the price points and the price levels that was hit when we saw the VIX around $34, $33 last week. So, it was definitely an interesting game being played, man. But I want everybody to be aware and just have a little bit of knowledge and wisdom and cadence about themselves when they're in the markets, because there's a lot of people that get washed, playing around, not know what they're doing, not taking it seriously.
Yep.
And I just don't want that to happen to people who, you know what I mean? I done been washed out, so if I can help anybody prevent that, that's the goal.
So you both mentioned Fed rate hikes, and we know that those are primarily based on inflation rates. At least that's what Powell has been saying, that until we see inflation start to reverse and come back down to his target of 2%-ish, the Fed has no reason to stop or cut interest rates. So with this news of diesel, 25 days left of the supply, obviously that's going to make it harder to import, export things like food, wheat. Anything that is transported overseas uses diesel for the cargo and the boats. So how do you guys see this diesel short squeeze, and how do you think that's going to affect the CPI or the Federal Reserve? MJ, you want to start off on this one?
Yeah. Diesel, we have to remember that diesel is like the trash gas. It's a byproduct of us making all the other gas that we use, like the 87, 91, 93. The diesel is the byproduct of all of that gas. So if we're being squeezed in the diesel market, that means that there's some type of shortage in the other regular food market as well, which I don't necessarily believe. But nonetheless, that is the news. So it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't matter what you believe. Sometimes the only thing that matters is the narrative, right? So, I think it is interesting. I think it's going to put pressure on the supply chain. And a big part of that is, I believe, is banks and the global markets sort of covering for China because their output and exports are diminishing with all of their efforts going on helping Russia and Taiwan. They're really exposed right now, and you can kind of see the panic knee jerk reaction that's happening in the China markets as well if you're paying attention to that. But I think it's a bigger story behind the diesel shortage. Because, like I said, the diesel shortage, the diesel is a byproduct of the other gas, right? Like we have to have the other gas to make diesel. So it would imply that there's an actual gas shortage, which I just don't believe. The United States is one of the biggest oil producers in the world. We were doing a lot better under Trump, but if there is a real squeeze, it's going to be more manipulated and manufactured, in my opinion. But that's not to say that it won't happen and we won't see, major supply chain issues, transportation issues, and those things will absolutely affect the market. Travel, transportation, all of those things are going to be affected if that happens.
I agree 100%. Doesn't have to be true, but if enough people believe it, it makes it true.
Right.
Yeah.
Now my take on this is also I think we have to remember Biden using a lot of the uh, gas reserves or
Mm-hmm.
reserves, yeah, oil reserves,
The emergency. Yeah.
exactly, emergency oil reserves, and send it over to troops in Ukraine, I believe. And
They were actually funneling a large amount of fuel
mm,
to the EU because Russia cut them off. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you got to remember that. But at the same time, I agree with what you're saying. That's true. We have been sending excessive resources to Ukraine. Um, but the pipeline going down, and Biden kind of cutting off the Keystone and all of those things.
yeah,
Like I said, that's still what I like to categorize under a manufactured crisis. Because at any point in time, if it got really real, we could just go right back to being the number one oil producer and not.
48% of the world's oil reserves in America.
Yeah.
48%.
yeah,
But we are supporting the EU, which that does put pressure on the markets. I feel you. That's why I live in Mexico. You say I had to get out of the U.S. Yeah, I mean that's exactly why I live in Mexico, man. It's a little crazy up there, man. My hats off to y'all. I'll be back and forth working, but
Yeah, man. We're trying to get like you, bro. The American dream is leaving America. It's the
exactly.
American dream.
And also you spoke on the fact that like diesel is used in shipments and stuff like that, so importing food and things like that to America. So I don't think food will become a problem in the US, but I think food prices will. Like the amount you pay for food, and the amount you pay for food now is already pretty high. It's really
Oh, yeah.
unreasonable. So I think everybody should get on the side of, or in the mindset of, growing your own food, because I feel like even through all of these different market cycles and things like that, I think if you're able to produce some of these products for yourself, and you're able to feed yourself with some of this stuff, it could ease the burden on you and your economic situation. So we are in some pretty, what I'm saying, manufactured markets, and it's pretty crazy how manipulated this stuff is. But at the end of the day, I think having a mindset of just doing something for yourself, and making something happen for yourself, regardless of what the markets do. And then if you learn how to grow food or something like that, you expand, your own bag or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You expand yourself, and you expand and you grow, and you have another skill set, another trade.
Absolutely.
what it does is you go from being on one side of the coin to being able to juggle both, right? You go from being a sole consumer,
Yeah,
right, to being a producer, right? So not only can you consume the goods that you're growing, but if the need arises, you would also be able to sell those
and
goods
produce
that
for
you're,
others.
and make that for others. You know what I'm saying? So That is really interesting. I want to talk about what my man just posted right there. But you're not wrong, man. That's good stuff right there. Definitely look into growing your own food, man. Look at co-ops for farmers market and stuff like that. They do exist all over the country. Co-ops. Make sure you got some fresh water, some good water sources, and fresh food, man.
Absolutely. And speaking of importing and exporting, BRICS is looking to expand. Saudi Arabia keen to join. BRICS represents more than 40% of the global population and nearly a quarter of the world's GDP. And if it expanded, it will help in the bolstering of the BRICS global influence. So, what do you guys think about BRICS? Is this something to be watching out for? I know me and MJ have talked about this before.
You want to go, Rakim? I want to hear what
Yes, sir. I want to.
This looks like it's your area.
Right on this. All right, BRICS. They've already talked about having their own currency amongst each other throughout the world. So the BRICS nations, who are heavily backed by precious metals, and then many countries in South America who are huge precious metal, where a lot of precious metal miners are, especially silver and gold miners. And then they get Saudi Arabia in their team, and we already know oil or the petrodollar is what really keeps the United States dollar up and propped up, along with military might. But the petrodollar is what really keeps the dollar strong, because everybody in the world has to transact for oil and fuel and things like that with dollars. So if Saudi Arabia, who holds a vast amount of oil reserves, if Saudi Arabia joins BRICS, who is in favor and in team with Russia and China, this is going to create some pretty how do I say this? I'll just say it's a problem for America. It's a problem, and especially for the United States dollar. And I also wanted to note as well, in the Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he spoke about a currency that will not be coming from America. It will be coming from somewhere else. And with me knowing the BRICS looking to create their own country and separate, it will probably be a digital currency, just collectively amongst BRICS nations. And then they could back the digital currency with, something like the precious metals and things like that. Man, I think all ties are being cut off among big nations with America. It won't happen fast, but I think this is like a huge moment in history right here if Saudi Arabia joins BRICS, or it says they're keen to join, so it's looking probable. So man, hey, it's man, macroeconomics is looking pretty interesting for the future. So I'm bullish on precious metals on this, because I know the BRICS has talked about creating a currency and actually backing it with precious metals. And China and Russia have been stacking precious metals for a while now, especially gold, mainly gold. And then we know Saudi Arabia is gold rich in general. And this is huge right here.
Absolutely. And we know the ruble is one of the only currencies in the world that is backed by gold right now. And there are many, what do they call it, technicians and devs that are looking to make gold a digital commodity. I've seen countless YouTube videos on it where they're going to make CBDCs based on a digital gold reserve. So this is definitely interesting, to say the least, and worrisome for any United States person in power. It's definitely got their eyes open. MJ?
Just for the people that don't understand or know what we're talking about, the BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, just from a world global economic standpoint, the hottest market right now is India. India is the hottest market. China is somewhat declining a little bit. They're cooling off. The ruble is the best performing currency on the year so far. China has a mountain of gold that they haven't even tapped into yet on their mainland. and they've already been exchanging oil and resources between Russia and China via digital currencies, whether it's crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or they've already semi came up with a way to transact with the ruble and the yuan between their currencies. They have a system that is rivaling the what is the name of the system?
Swift.
The Swift credit system. They have a system that is rivaling the credit system. They are very very aggressive in their strategy. What they're doing, I think it's incredible. And Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, is the third largest landowner on the planet, right? So if we want to understand these moves that are being made, we got to understand the scope and the scale, right? Like, the BRICS nation is definitely going to be a challenger to the dollar, and it's going to be attractive to even United States investors, American investors, because there's a high probability of their commerce being backed by gold, or maybe some other precious metals or silver. We don't know, right? A lot of those countries are resource mineral rich, right? And that's going to be a huge factor in the future of not just banking, but from a societal development standpoint as well. Because once they initiate the digital currencies, it's gonna definitely put some pressure on the individual liberties that people have. But it's one of the parts of evolution that we have to understand is going to happen. You're not going to stop it. But we do have a voice and we do have a chance and a choice every day. But people need to understand that there's more news going on out there other than what CNN is telling you, because they're not telling you stuff like this, right?
Yep. Speaking of personal liberties getting challenged, the IMF chief says central bank digital currencies should be used alongside the social credit system to control what people can and cannot buy.
So that was exactly what I was getting at. Is China is pretty uh
Digital yuan friendly.
esque, right? Like China is very Black Mirror esque, man. They're very very strict. This
That's
their
crazy.
system is actually a few years old, man. Like they've been using this system with the social credit for about years, and people don't realize that. And that's why I said Black Mirror esque, man, because they got some creepy stuff that's just kind of the norm in China that we would be totally appalled about. But um, that's the future if the CBCDs get in trouble, and they start pushing this on the population because they control the money. You know what I mean? So China's been doing this for several years already. Don't think that it's still testing. They've already rolled it out in China. We're talking about a billion person population, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh, you have to understand, like a lot of these things are already here with us. They may not be in America or where you are right now, but they are around the corner and they're coming.
Some could argue we already have this in America. We have a credit score. We're missing one word: social. We already have credit scores. So all we got to do is link your PayPal to your Instagram account, and there you go.
Yep.
Yes,
You're
sir.
you're socially credited now.
Now, I must say I got a lot to say about this because as we've seen the brother Kanye West, or let me not say Kanye West, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is has been his bank account has been frozen by J.P. Morgan, and then he comes out he's wearing a Satoshi Nakamoto hat, and we know Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, they, or she is, created Bitcoin for the purpose of being a censorship, um, peer-to-peer open payment system, payment network. Um, and actually, I think this shines light on the importance of Bitcoin because things like this are very dangerous when it comes to freedoms and privacy. Because, like how you said in Black Mirror, the government, if you don't, the government can place a weighting of certain things in their favor. So if you say something going against the government and it is weighed on the lower scale of, what they don't want people to say or do or things like that, it could have a really negative impact. And people like, let's say we were on a social credit system right now, and it's kind of already subconsciously in the minds of people to have a social credit system. When you look at Twitter and you see how many people follow a certain narrative based on, a small amount of information, like the whole anti-Semitism thing. A lot of people are calling Ye an anti-Semite and not knowing what the definition of that is and things like that. So people are already in a state of mind of following the herd in terms of mindset and the way you think. And I also wanted to touch on the fact that the green energy movement, or the carbon credit movement and things like that, where people are trying to reduce the amount of carbon emissions into the air. What I've seen in the crypto markets have, without a central bank digital currency, have hinted at a social credit system already. Now, this is something I haven't seen anybody speak about this, but this is something that I've been noticing. So there's an NFT marketplace called Rarible on the Ethereum blockchain, and there's a small button that you can click that says carbon footprint, and you can either track your carbon footprint if you want to or not. But basically, we know in blockchain, like when you do a transaction, a certain amount of energy is exerted to make certain transactions possible. And with a lot of the cryptocurrencies that we see popping up now that are big, mainly proof of stake, Bitcoin is a proof of work blockchain, but it's the number one. Proof of stake claims, or people claim that it reduces 99% of or energy usage by 99%. And I think what we could end up seeing happening is a social credit system being used in crypto by the way or excuse of this green energy movement, or this carbon emissions movement. Like, if you're not holding yourself to a certain carbon footprint limit, your social credit score could go down because you're not doing something good for the environment. You see what I'm saying? Without even having a CBDC. Now, people are looking at your platform on the blockchain or something like that, to where they're like, wow, you really don't care about the environment. But you're like, wait, what are you talking about? But now your score is being brought down lower and lower. So
just because you got a couple of BTCs in the wallet,
exactly,
right?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I never heard.
NFTs, you know what I'm saying? So,
oh, you own too many NFTs, bro. You gotta pay your carbon tax, man.
We're not allowed to do any more transactions from this wallet because too many gas fees, and the miners are using too much electricity. So you're done. You're done buying things for the rest of the week.
exactly.
That's what it's going to be pretty soon.
Exactly. So I would, anybody in crypto, or anybody coming up in crypto, be very mindful of that, because I saw that, I was like, they think they slick trying to add in this little carbon credit, carbon emissions thing. And there's actually a carbon credit system or business where people have these carbon credits where they can offset their carbon emissions that they emit into the air. That's an upcoming that's an upcoming business that's starting to become, a big industry. So be careful with that. They may try and reduce your credit score by how much you love the earth. So,
Oh man, you're driving too many miles in that car. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift taking fucking. Come on, don't make me do this right now. Y'all gonna bring me into this rant? Don't make me do this rant. Talking about carbon, like trees don't use the carbon that we exhale and put into the environment. The trees inhale our carbon. This is like what's been happening for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years on this planet. Now they're trying to tell you, no, your showers are too long. You're turning your TV on for too long. Turn off the lights. But they can have fucking tanks in countries that you've never even seen or heard of, and meanwhile these tanks are blowing down people's houses. Talking about waste of energy. How much energy does the United States industrial military complex use? Let's put that energy into a carbon footprint. How about that?
The United States spends more energy and resources on military than the top 3 countries combined behind them. Perspective. So,
and think about this: Twitter, Elon Musk just bought Twitter. Remember, one of the main reasons that Elon Musk, I think he sold a little bit of his Bitcoin, and he said, I won't pick up Bitcoin again until it reduces its amount of energy that it uses. he now owns a social platform where they already said they're going to integrate wallets, and they took the company private. So Twitter is no longer a publicly traded company, and the things that they do is now private. Elon Musk has made statements where he was saying he wants Twitter to be like ManyChat. Now, if he gets on this Green New Deal, you already know he has Tesla, which is a electric car company, or not even electric car, a technology company, but it focuses, on electric cars and things and like that. If he jumps on this uh, carbon credit thing, what's good for the environment on top of, saying he wants a decentralized social platform, but then in his actions, he's actually, creating an environment for censorship through carbon, a social credit carbon system where if you're not doing good for the planet, we're going to drop your social credit score on Twitter, and people are going to look at your Twitter account and just bash you, and you're not, it's a
What are you
pretty
talking about, man? Elon Musk is saving Twitter. He's bringing back freedom of speech. Elon Musk is the world's greatest gift since Jesus Christ. Elon Musk is going to save social media.
Hey, don't be talking about Iron Man like that, bro. Come on.
Oh my god! I've seen too many things, man. Like, this guy is not a billionaire. He does not care about your freedom of speech. You may think he cares about you because he said he cares about you, but we have to remember this man is a billionaire. His father had a mine in apartheid South Africa where they were basically using slave labor. Okay, this is the guy that we're looking up to save social media. This is the guy that everyone's saying is going to bring back freedom of speech. And talked about Bitcoin being censorship resistant. What about Vitalik Buterin saying that he aligns more with the elites on 98% of subjects? What about Ethereum transactions? 99% of the last 100 blocks were just following OFEC censorship rules. This decentralized finance idea is starting to shatter within our very eyes.
Well, I mean, we have to understand. We have to understand that it's informed consent is universal law, right? You have to understand that first and foremost, and then we also have to understand that the technology that is, blockchain technology, it was created over 30 years ago, right? DARPA, Satoshi, if you want to go down that route. But DARPA and the military industrial complex and the dark web, all of these things have been in effect. And the technology doesn't belong to us. This technology was created by the powers that be. It can't, but it's just that. It's no more than a tool, just like a pencil or a hammer. What you do with the tool or the energy is what it becomes. And that's why I kind of want to make sure people understand, like, yeah, crypto blockchain technology could be fucking terrible for the human race, but it could also be used as the tool
very
of
great.
liberation, right?
Yes,
Like it could go either way, and it really depends on the people. It depends on how well we understand the technology and how far we're going to be willing to let it go. The problem
exactly.
is people don't feel like they have any power, and they just do, like you said, they just go along to get along. They just do what they're told. The group think mentality. Crypto could go either way. We're at that point. Where we're seeing the spectrum of what the blockchain technology could bring us. It could help us, right? Or it could also, like I said, it could totally breach all of our civil liberties, all of our personal liberties as a people, as countries, as nationalities, as nations. But like I said, every day you get a choice and a chance. And like I said, the people have more power than they know. And that's, I feel like that's our job, is to get the information. I was like, look, we ain't dead yet, right? Like,
Exactly.
we don't have the social credit system in place right now.
Yeah,
There's still things that we could do to curtail, and it really starts with participation, right? You have to understand the technology, then you have to participate so you can control it. Because guess what? Just like Rarible, the community in Rarible, right? Their ecosystem. Guess what they did? They voted on that, right? They
yeah,
voted on it to have that tab to say whether or not we want to track these carbon footprints. So guess what? if you own 60%, like if you've been building up your pot and you own a good chunk of wearable, you can place your vote and say, I am not okay with this. This does not align with my belief system. So the group that my money is tied into is going to vote no. That's what the entire crypto ecosystem is about. Is about empowering the people. But most people don't understand that they can participate just through ownership of these tokens and coins. They can participate in the rules, in how things are going, in the development of the project, on what the developers are working on. They can participate at, and they have some say. But as long as we don't understand the technology and we're still calling it a scam, and it's going to be used as a tool against us, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. And one of the things that I always love is Bitcoin is the peaceful revolution, because what we really need is a revolution. There is no amount of sitting around and talking to your Congress, writing a letter to your congresswoman, and that is not what's going to happen. We either need to have a revolution, and note on that, we outnumber them 1,000,000 to 1, or a financial revolution where we opt out of the SWIFT USD banking system as a whole, and we create our own decentralized autonomous organizations. We create our own ADL.
Create our own blockchains, and that's one thing as well. Not just looking at it from a consumer perspective, but right now it's a lot of people putting out information on how to learn how to program on Solidity and many different ways to program your own blockchain. So being able to create your own blockchain and how you want it to make it, make a free, blockchain, and not having these censorship type of blockchains, and being a consumer on just these, learning how to program this stuff is where it's at as well.
Absolutely. The future is digital. So learning anything you can about AI, anything you can about programming. MIT has all kinds of courses on YouTube. There's no excuse. I don't have enough money to go to a college to learn programming. MIT is posting free content on YouTube. I mean, Gary Gensler was on the MIT YouTube channel explaining cryptocurrency. So there's no excuse about how you don't have enough resources nowadays. Everyone can be empowered via education. The self-education is the key to, I think, Black empowerment. Get off of Netflix. Get off Netflix. We're going to go to the favorite trading indicators. Me personally, I'm a very simple guy. Like the RSI and the 72 EMA. 72 EMA paired with the 200 EMA, because we can't just go on about this boring ass shit. Some people like the good old gambling and going through the casino stock market. So RSI, I'm looking at RSI on everything, the daily, the weekly, the hourly, RSI divergence, 72 and 200 moving averages. I keep it very simple. MJ? I know you're more of a big trader. You're muted, brother.
As far as indicators, man, I feel like the more trading I do, the less indicators I use.
Yeah.
I really do. And I went down the indicator bandwagon, just like every other new trader, and just tried everything, bots and you name it. I'm still sticking to order flow and price action. I like to have indicators that are based in price action, and the best one that I found is using the strat, which is a candle form, just candle counting or candle reading, and understand what the price action is doing in real time. It's pretty simple. I don't have a lot of indicators on my, like, if you look right here on this screen, I don't have a bunch of indicators right here. You know what I'm saying? I just have regular charts. So that's a real chart that I use. I try, like you said, man, I try to keep it simple, because I've been down. I know you've been down there, Zabe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Game box with the Fibonacci retracement from the 3.5. Then you take the Fibonacci of God's fingerprint and you put it backwards from the weekly time frame, and then you bring it to the 2.0. That is like, it gets
30-second time frame.
It gets, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to keep it simple with indicators, and a lot of new traders. I feel like for everybody that's new to trading, you kind of gotta go through the process. I can tell you what I use. Xavier can tell you what he uses. Rakim can tell you what he uses, but it may not work for you. You may not be able to read it. Like I tell you, like volume order blocks for
Mhm.
volume. I was a miserable trader for years because I was trying to read order blocks, volume order blocks, and it just didn't make sense to my brain, right?
Mhm.
I went with a market profile based volume reading system, and I've had more success trading. So, it just depends. But I know other people that trade exclusively off of the 250 volume chart, right? So it just depends on what works for you, and how your brain works and how you interpret the market. Indicators, there's a million of them out there.
Yep.
Literally, there's a million of them. So, you just kind of got to take your time and see what works for you, what you're comfortable with, what you can understand and interpret that makes sense for you.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is candlestick pattern formations first. Understand what you're looking at first.
Right.
Gotcha. That
And
makes a lot
see,
of sense.
and see, I'm learning from y'all because I'm in like early stages of really getting into trading, like on a daily basis, trading weekly basis. But long term, my favorite indicator is the fear and greed index because nobody controls the market but people. People control the markets all the way around. So if people are scared to put money in the market, and the fear and greed index, whether it be stocks or crypto, is below, mainly Bitcoin is below 10. Hey, I'm in there. And then anywhere further than that, hey, nah, I'm gonna wait for more fear to be in the markets.
Less is more.
That is simple, bro.
Less is more.
Buy the fear, sell the greed, man. That is Warren Buffett's primary indicator in trading strategy. So I would say you are on point with that. Buy fear and sell greed. When everybody's shook and scared, and buy that up. And then when everybody's buying 64,000 Bitcoin, you sell that.
It's going through at the end of the year, bro. No, I was one of those though. I can't even. I'm not even gonna front. Uh,
We've all been there, bro. Like if you're trading, man, understanding that trading is a process. You're gonna lose. You're gonna buy tops. You're gonna be wrong, right? Like so, you gotta understand trading's a process, man. But yeah, we all been there, bro. Don't hide from them L's, man. We all
yeah,
got.
I'm not hiding. I ain't selling neither. I'm gonna just wait my ass off. But elections, the November 8th elections. Do you guys think we're going to see this so-called midterm rally? What are your guys' thoughts on this midterm slash Santa Claus rally everyone has been talking about for the past few weeks?
I think we could, especially like just being in the market conditions that we're in right now. Uh, they like to make the politicians look good and make things look all sunny and dandy when the politicians is out and doing their magic. I think we possibly could. You can see right now, Dogecoin is shooting up. You know what I'm saying? It may be in connection with Elon Musk, but I think we could, and then we'll end up going back down. The Fed still is doing the interest rate hikes, but just for right now, in the short term, I think there could be a rally.
I think we're gonna see the Christmas holiday rally, and then I see, man, I don't even really see a real rally. I think we stay in this consolidation range because the new range that we just created, to close out this month is pretty extreme. I think we'll probably trade inside of the value area for this month. I think for November we'll trade inside the value area of October because we created a very large range, and then we'll start to see some real action and some huge swings. Like you said, the market, the VIX, the moves that the BRICS are making, as well as the oil and diesel situation. All of those things are, and the election is priced into the market. So, yeah, you kind of gotta play it. I think, like I said, like you said at the beginning of the top of the hour, man, cash is a position. And I think we're gonna see some things go on sale to kind of help us achieve that long term portfolio status that we really want. So I think we're
Yeah,
time to be patient, man. I'm not buying anything. Most of what I'm doing right now is is building a cash position in the futures market to establish. I'm waiting for the VIX to hit a little lower. I foresee the S&P 500. Like if it gets to 4,100, that's a bit ridiculous for me. Just from trading it every day for the last 2 years. If it goes back to 4,100, I definitely look for a bounce off of that. And then we go right back down to 3,500. You think about that range, we're talking about a 600-700 point range that we could be in for the next month and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. This we're due for a Santa Claus rally. The put call volume ratio is puts have been extremely heavy. Uh, you
And
know,
they got to collect. People buying puts, they got to go collect that money.
yeah, man.
That's sell side liquidity, and that's what you got to understand is how the market works, man. If people are buying puts, guess what? They shook right now. If the market's rallying, because their stops are probably sitting at 40.
Or even trading sideways, they're losing delta.
You say that again?
Even trading sideways, people are losing delta if they have options and all that. They're losing premium, losing time.
Yeah, like
Time
I said, they're
enemy.
gonna go hunt that sell side liquidity and stop folks out that were short, that were the market. After 4,300, everybody started getting short in the S&P 500. So they're gonna go hunt that down, go get that liquidity, and then they're gonna take the market back down to the downside.
Right, and we mentioned twice this cash is king, and I know a lot of people are thinking, how is cash king if inflation is, oh my god, inflation? Okay, so would you rather 8%, or would you rather be holding Bitcoin from 40,000 right now? And where that's a 50% drop that we've had. What was the best performing asset this year? I think is gold, and gold is down 4%.
Ethereum is the best performing asset this year.
Is Ethereum?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, people are saying like it's bad to be holding cash because inflation is high, but I mean,
Well, honestly, if you're abroad, if you're not in America, holding cash is a really good idea.
Exactly.
If you're a traveler, holding cash is a good idea. Um, right now is not the time to be in real estate. Right now is not the time to be in any long-term options.
Nope.
Right now is not the time to be long or short in the crypto markets, man. So it like I said, we could trade in this range, and this range is a very dangerous range because it's so broad, right? Like we don't really know where it's going to go yet until things settle down. Build that cash position up and pick you some. I would say, my style, bro. I don't really sell crypto. So.
Yep. It doesn't make sense, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really sell crypto.
In the future of finance.
Yeah, it's a one-way street for me. I will say this, just to kind of bring in the social credit and the CBDCs, y'all should start looking into Web3 domain acquisitions, man. It's going to be an area of leverage that we'll be able to utilize in the event that, some of these digital currencies get out of control. If we own their domain names, we can have some say-so in how they do things going forward. So I would advise everybody, and I teach this in my group as well. We were on this last year. Look into purchasing Web3 domains, whether it's on the blockchain or Bitcoin or Ethereum chain or LTC chain or a Matic chain, Polygon, whatever chain that you feel like is an area that you can availably invest in. Definitely look into the Web3 domain names and start buying those up, because you don't have to necessarily buy Bitcoin or buy crypto or buy NFTs. There's other ways where you can invest and make money and also control a share of something, control a portion of something that will be used in the future.
Yep, and you're talking about .eth addresses, right?
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I have an Ethereum domain, but I own several. I own some for Polygon. I own some for Rarible, I believe. I own some for Bitcoin. So it's that's just what I chose to put my name on, is on the Ethereum mainnet. But you can there's several, and there's a ton of them available, but you kind of have to be an outside the box thinker. You have to have a game plan for it, and you have to have the cash available. And I will say this, that they don't really lose their value. they haven't really seen their max value either, but it is an investment where it's almost as solid as putting something like a cash.
Like, am I
Yeah,
cut you off? What were you gonna say?
like utilizing unstoppable domains where you can actually mint that domain name on a blockchain. I know near blockchain you can buy a domain or get domain names on the near blockchain, Cardano as well. It's a lot of different places where you can get those domain names. Now lately I've been looking a lot into DeFi on many different crypto platforms. Um, the market has been down, but it's been a lot of in terms of overall development and innovation in DeFi, which is decentralized finance, basically like banking with crypto. I think this a lot of great opportunities as well with those like uh, uh, being in some liquidity pools, earning some interest on certain coins in liquidity pools, and things like that. Just watch out for the bridges in DeFi. A lot of hacks happen with the bridges in DeFi. So yeah, and just overall, just learn a lot at this moment. You know what I'm saying? It's a
As
lot of
much as you can.
yeah, it's a lot of technological advancements going on right now. So you don't want to be left behind in that. There's a lot of
Well,
emerging
I'm
industries.
glad you brought up. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up staking. I wanted to ask you guys, what are you staking? Are you staking anything, Lucky?
Yes, sir. I'm staking Cardano in a stake pool for at about 5%.
Nice.
Staking
Monthly?
no, it's yearly. It's a yearly one.
Gotcha.
See, that's
Gotcha.
just a regular staking pool. You know, you can get the bigger yields in the decentralized exchanges like liquidity pools and things like that. Those are a little more risky than just staking with a stake validator or a stake pool. Also, I'm staking Polygon. I believe I'm getting about 5 to 8% annual percentage yield on Polygon through a decentralized app called Stater Labs. So yeah, most of the cryptos that I can stake, I'm staking like Cosmos as well. Staking Cosmos. So yeah, it's some great staking opportunities out there.
Roger. Andre, you staking?
Man, I'm glad you asked me that, bro. Like, I'm really glad you asked me that, and the reason is because one of my goals that I have for Edge Out Trading is to actually become a validator on the Cosmos network,
Mm,
and I want, like I said, it's an area where we can take advantage of and actually have some voting power and
yeah.
some authority. So some of the moves that I've been making is after, like, I've been running a whole nother company outside of like focusing on Edge Out. But one of the final projects that I want to do is I want to actually have I want a staking validating service that people can put a name to a face, right? They can say, I'm staking my Atom with MJ on his network, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'm a validator on some networks, not very large ones. I have nodes, I stake as well. I have pre-search nodes, I have Thor nodes, I have several nodes. The DeFi space has expanded um, greatly during this bear season, which is very, very impressive. They've still managed to pay out. And if you don't understand what staking and node ownership and validator stuff is, it's basically like a dividend payout
Yeah.
where you get a small percentage of whatever share that you own. And then obviously you work with the validator to pay you out, because if you're staking with them, then they earn more and they can pay more. But that's what I want to do with Edge Out Trading. I want to put it totally on Web3. I want it to be a Web3 based company where people can come stake Cardano and Atom, and they can come stake it with Edge Out Trading, feel safe and comfortable knowing that there's not going to be any bridges or anything like that that's going to compromise it. It'll be on a secure network, a safe and secure network, and we could do it amongst ourselves, right? Like, why stake it on Coinbase or KuCoin or some of these other things? They're going to take a large
Exactly.
percentage of it. You know what I mean? We got to think like that in this day and age, because that's what it calls for. And I'm glad you asked me that question. I'm absolutely staking everything that I own in
Yeah.
crypto. Think there's a reason not to. Like, I don't sell it, right? And if I don't sell it, there's no point in not staking it because it's just sitting there where I could be making more money off of it by staking it. So I encourage everybody to understand with staking, DeFi, validators, no validators. I got a couple of courses up in my Discord. That I went over that for like 6 months with my group, what all of those things meant. So they understood like you can literally, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Going through COVID and like that first couple years, I was paying most of my bills from the rewards from my staking pools. So that in itself was enough for me to understand the value, long term, understand the value long term of what it can do for your portfolio and what it can also do for other people and people around you. So I plan on offering about 12%. If I go directly with the Atom Network, I'll get 17. I plan on offering between 10 and 12%. Just to kind of make sure everybody is happy and they can make money because it's not really about making money for me. Like I said, I've been staking for years. So like I'm good with it, but I would rather make sure people are aware that there's an opportunity where, hey, you don't feel comfortable. I got a step by step. You can stake with me. We can both make money, and it won't be no schemed out scam and shit because there's a ton of
Yeah.
scams out
It's
here.
about the community, not the capital.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
I need to lock in with you more on that validator staking validator nodes because that's a fact. Just having a position in the overall network of a blockchain
Yeah,
is huge. It's
you
key.
become a
And
validator
then
node on the blockchain for sure.
exactly, and we can do like for people who look like us, like pure black, we could have people staking with us, and we have actual control over some of these networks, and that's very powerful. And then on Adam, like just earning an extra 17% annual percentage yield on a valuable crypto. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. And really, crypto is a investment instrument that over centuries is like, how do you even get yields on certain things like this or these type of yields? It's a different type of ball
How
game.
do I get dividends on my gold bar? Like, come on. I actually, well, I work like God's advocate right now. Shout out to 19 Keys. I don't have a damn thing staked. I don't have any Cardano staked. I don't have any Ethereum staked. I don't have nothing staked. You want to know why? Because I didn't have diamond hands. I want to ask you guys about that whole. Neither of you mentioned Ethereum staking, which was incredible because that's what I wanted to talk shit about, and neither of you gave me the opportunity to do that because I feel you guys probably are smarter than that. But this Lido ETH situation, the staked ETH, have you guys heard of the depegging going on in the Lido ETH community? I think it happened a few months back. I think it used to be 0.99 staked ETH for one ETH, and then it went down to 0.97, and that 0.02 difference is like hundreds of millions of dollars. So are you guys looking into fail safes or Luna 2.0 situations when you're staking? Or how secure are you guys in making sure you're staking into a community that you know you can get your money out of?
When it comes to Ethereum, recently with that whole Ethereum merge and how they switch to proof of stake and things like that, is maybe be a little careful on Ethereum and who's controlling Ethereum because we see with the Tornado Cash mixer, that protocol, a lot of addresses that were linked to Ethereum addresses were getting censored and frozen and things like that. So I tread lightly with Ethereum. And Lido, I know it has like over 5 billion total value locked right now in the protocol. I'm not familiar with the depegging of it and stuff like that, but I think they're paying around like a 4 to 6% um, yield on Ethereum. So that's why I've been trading very lightly with Ethereum. I have more exposure in Polygon than Ethereum, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, Andrew, how important is security and staking?
Man, I was looking. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm
Right.
always monitoring the markets. What that was when you saw that depegging, that was the miners, right? You have to understand that was the miners. They were, and I was looking for the coin that they actually moved to. Um, Prior to the merge, what happened prior to the merge is a lot of the miners started pulling all of their liquidity off of the chain because they were not, there was no service for them anymore, right? They weren't able to make any money post merge. So what they did was they moved their money off of chain and they put it on this other coin that I was looking for that I can't find right now. But there was another coin that they have moved the main group of Ethereum miners, not the institutional miners, but the main group of like regular miners like us. They moved, and I'll find it. I got it written down somewhere, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
ETH proof of work, ETH POW?
No, they moved. It was totally. It was. I got it written down somewhere. It was not
ETH Classic.
Huh?
It wasn't ETH Classic.
No, it wasn't ETH Classic. They moved off the chain. They moved off the chain. I can't remember. I'll give it to you as soon as I remember. I'll send it.
Got you.
It's gonna kill me until I figure it out. The event was, and that's why you saw that depegging a little bit, is because a lot of the miners moved their liquidity off, and once that happened, they moved it to another platform, and that actually raised.
Absolutely. I just want to
ERG. There we go.
ERG.
ERG.
He got it. He got it, folks.
They moved to Ergo. The miners moved to Ergo, and if you can actually track that movement, you can see where the influx happened. So that's what happened on the ETH chain.
That makes sense. I'm glad you put my mind at ease, although I'm still not jumping at the bit to stake my Ethereum.
There's obviously some inherent risk with staking, but I weigh the inherent risk of staking with the amount of money that I make every day. And I feel, $2 a day every day for a couple years adds up. And if you keep reinvesting, that compound and leverage is really the only way to acquire wealth without being born into it. So you have to understand compounding. It is some risk involved. I don't want you to think there's not risk involved. Obviously there is. But like I said, whether the market's up or down, I make money every day. It may be a little less amount than it was the day before, but I make money in my sleep.
Gains is gains, baby. Gains is gains.
Gains are gains, baby. And I still keep my initial investment. You know what I'm saying? I still got my initial investment. And I'm making money every day off of that initial investment. So I'm cool with it, man.
And then when the markets are down, especially when you're staking and you're earning a certain coin, when the markets are down, if you hold on to the earned rewards that you got, that
it's free money.
Going back up to the upside, it's just free money on top of just earning free money with staking. So,
yeah, I forgot about that. It's actually lowering your cost average at the same time.
At the same time, bro. DeFi is the wave, and I suspect more companies and institutionals are going to get heavier into it because they obviously want their piece. But this is where we come in, right? Like, we can be validators, right? We have to understand that we can play the role of the bank in the blockchain ecosystem. It just takes a little bit of education and knowledge, and people like us to kind of make sure people understand what's possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Be your own bank, people. Be your own bank. I want to thank both of you for coming on. This was excellent. I definitely want to do this again. Can you let me know where the people can find both of you? MJ, where can the people find you?
Edge Out Trading, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not really anywhere else other than Twitter and Instagram. I'm interested. I think me and Xavier are definitely gonna push the envelope and see if Twitter really is uncensored now.
We gonna push that shit every day, man.
Hey, we're gonna try them. We're gonna try this line. So I got kicked off of Twitter so many times, it's ridiculous. Either way, Twitter, Instagram, edgeouttrading.eth. If you're interested in the Discord, drop me a DM on either one of those, and I'll shoot you a link to the Discord. Yeah, that's pretty much me, man. MJ, I appreciate you, big dog. Like, I love what you do. I love your style, man. I know you're a badass trader, bro. And,
appreciate you.
Great things coming, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
And for myself on Instagram at Y3Kim as on the screen right now, and then on TikTok at ra.kim. So that's RAH.KIM. So yeah, man, I appreciate you for having us on here. This was great to, just pick other people's brains to just hear what other people have to say about it. That's where I align my, what I'm doing with other people's. And that validator pool, man. I gotta tap in with you on that validator pool.
Yeah, I think it's very important to tap into the young brown minds. Stop watching these old whiteheads on CNBC who ain't got nothing, none of the type of experiences we got. We're watching them for financial advice for. Not that this is financial advice. None of this is financial advice. This is all for comedic and entertainment purposes only. If you enjoyed anything you saw today, please leave a like, leave a comment on what we should talk about next time. Financial Conspirator out.
Peace.